So my way is, if they tell you they want a 1 on the sides and the nape area, then start with a 3. Because you know, if this is a 1 right here, this is going to be your closest area. Then you're going to go to a 2. Then here a 3. So you have that 3, 2, 1 all around this sides. Same thing that we would do our 12 o'clock, our 1:30, and our 3 o'clock, and then close around the ears, right? So it's the same concept of, I want to gradually blend those areas. Now, barbers can do all kinds of magical things with their clippers and their comb, and they don't need a guard sometimes. So I am not teaching you how to do a fade like a barber, okay? I'm teaching you what works best for me, but I don't do a lot of fades, okay? So I always, if they say they want a 3 on the sides, I start with a 4, okay? If they want a 1 down here, I'm gonna still start with a 4, probably, because I would rather cut it longer and then go down. The other thing is, I personally don't ever go below a 1, because bald fades are very, very hard to do. So you're talking about where this is all skin, and once you take that 1 guard off, all you've got left is this. That's it. Then you are just buzzing flat on the skin. So it's super hard to blend. If you talking about that pressure, you go a little bit deep and then you back off, and then it's like black and white on the scalp. So I always stick with a 1 and say, you want anything shorter, you need to go see a barber. To me, barbers can do this in 15 minutes. They don't have 1 set of clippers, they have 10 sets of clippers. They've got razors and shaving cream and all this other crap that we don't typically have. So I would rather focus myself on women's hair personally, because I think I can make more money that way. So I don't really, if it's something that is like beyond my expertise, then I just say go to a barber. Mike's Barbershop on Everhart, awesome. They do a great job. Go there, you'll be done in 15 minutes, $15, whatever, you know. Not me. Me, it's gonna take me 45 minutes to do this. And then what? I'm gonna charge them $25, $30 when they could go to the barbershop for 15, something like that. Now, barbers are going up in price, which is kind of nice, but anyway. So, basic fade for me, when they tell me they want a 2 on the sides, I'm gonna start with a 3. They want a 3 on the side, I'm gonna start with a 4, okay? Now, I am always going to start also in my 3 o'clock section, okay? And I'm gonna go up, straight up and down. I'm not gonna curve. I'm not gonna go this U-shaped thing that people do, you know, where they're coming in and out. I don't do that. I just go straight up and down because I want that same vertical line, because I know how to blend that, because we just did that, right, in our 90. So if I just go straight up and down off the scalp, scoot over 1/2 inch, go up again, then that's all I'm doing. I'm just not using my fingers to cut it with my scissors, but I'm still have that same tension all the way around, and I just stay in my little bubble right here all the way around, okay? Now, again, when I'm holding this is my vertical line right here. So don't do it diagonally. Don't do it too far out. Hold it vertically. Okay, so that way you're going straight up and down vertically all the way around the scalp. Okay. These should sound like a hum. If it does not hum and it's sounding like bad, then you have several screws here to adjust. I would try adjusting those first. You can also take these off and adjust the blades there. Oil it all, clean it all, spray it down with clipper side, put it all back together, and that's usually all it takes, okay? But I will always have a little Phillips head and mess around with that because sometimes it just with the vibration, it gets loose. What you have with clippers is you have two sets of blades, one on the inside and one on the out. And they're just rubbing against each other, and that's what cuts the hair. So if it starts to pull or, snag the hair, they're gonna feel it. So make sure that when you're done, you clean them and you oil them. That way they stay nice, okay? All right, so I'm gonna start with a 4 on the sides, and I am putting enough pressure that I can feel that scalp. They're gonna have to resist me a little bit. If they don't, there's no way it's gonna be consistent, okay? If you're out here trying to barely touch them because you don't wanna hurt them, you're never going to get an even cut all the way around, okay? The other part of that is, like I was saying, if you have an uneven scalp, which we all do, if we shaved our heads bald, we would have all these little dents and bumps and bones sticking out. So that's the other reason we want to stay consistent with our pressure and not necessarily go in and out of every single bump on the head, okay? So I'm going to start with the 4, and I'm just going straight up until I can't go anymore. So I'm not going up and around, I'm just going straight up off the scalp. I'm slightly overlapping my previous section every single time. The hardest thing to do is keep it straight. Everybody always wants to go around, so let's really try not to do that. I almost will always hold that person's top of the head so that I know it's staying straight and they're not leaning away for any reason. And I will go over this a couple of times. I shouldn't be cutting anything after a while. You'll hear that there's no more missing little, I'm not cutting hair. So I will go back over this several times to make sure I didn't miss any hair. And I'm not cutting it shorter because I have my guard on here, so the blades are staying the same length away from the scalp all the way around. That's my 4. Now I'm going to go down to my 3. I'm going to go below that line, okay? And I'm just meeting it. I'm blending it. I'm not going up higher with my 3. I'm just going to this next inch right below that. And again, I'm doing the same thing all the way around with my 3. And every time I move, I'm only moving about ½ an inch. This is about 2 inches. So if I just scoot over about ½ an inch, then I'm going 2 or 3 times over that hair. And you really do have to think about where you are on the scalp, so that you're not overlapping that 4 and taking it even shorter, okay? Now my 3, I will probably go down below the occipital bone just a little bit, maybe another inch. And I'm still doing this vertically. When I get to the nape area, I'm gonna go down to my 2. Now, in the nape area, I will go in all different directions just to make sure I get all these crazy hairs that go different ways. And the difference between like a 2 and a 3 guard, you should see it on here. This is like 1/4 of an inch. A 3 guard is 3/8 of an inch. 4 guard is 1/2 an inch. So between a 4 and a 2, I have a 1/4 inch difference. So it's very, very, very minor. It's just a slight difference. And with the curve of the head, it's almost naturally going to fade anyway. So if you'll do it like this, it's really hard to mess up. Okay, now the only thing when I do come up above the nape area, I get closer just around the hairline, and I will tilt so that I'm actually blending, okay? So rather than flat, I tilt it a little bit so that I'm only cutting this edge. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then I'll go around the ears with my shortest, whatever it is. And in this case, it's my 2. But like I said, I will fade this way. So they do have guards that actually angle for this purpose. We just don't I don't have any. But they do have them. I've seen them where the guard gets longer here. So for this reason. But I just tilt mine. This is also where I'm going to come in with my little edgers or my peanut or whatever and get a little bit neater and closer and finish up around those ears and the sideburns and all that. Okay. All right, so now the top. Top, it doesn't matter. I can do finger length or I can do a 5. The trick here that I want you to really think about, I mean, unless you're in the military and you're just going to go zzz, make it round, I still like to kind of do a 180 here. So rather than put this flat on the scalp, I'll hold it up to where this is straight, right? Because then that's going to give me my 180 on top, right? So that's all I do. And really all you're talking about is this little fringe area right here that you want it to stay a little bit longer. Other than that, it's going to all blend with the sides and the back. And this one, I will do it all different directions. Same thing. People have all these weird little things that grow different directions right here. So I will always go back and forth every single which way so I know that it's nice and straight or even. And then right here is where I'll start to go straight up. And like I said, I'll always kind of look at the head shape. I always look at the outer line when I'm doing this to see how that hair is going to lay. So that if for any reason I need to adjust something, I can. My son has a very pointed apex up here. So if I did a 5 here, I will lower it. Now the way to lower it is on the side, okay? If you leave it where you can see the teeth are long, then that's long. If you close it and lift it up, then you can see the teeth are real short, okay? Then that means it's gonna get that half shorter, okay? So in that case, I still use my 5 guard, but it's taking it just a tiny bit shorter. So, like with my son here with his pointed little head, I will lower it a half and just go right across here where I want it to just blend a little softer so it won't really show that pointed edge. Okay, and then depending on what they do here, you can go back with your shears and make sure it's blended. But I always like to leave this a little bit longer. Okay. Let's look. Okay. Now, again, this is super basic. Okay, so all I did was a 5 in my 12 o'clock section. I did a 4 in my 1:30, a 2, 3, and then a 2 right around the ears and in the nape. Okay? And so when you look at this all the way around, that is where you want your shortest. Then you have your sides, your back, and you just blended it with the top. The only thing I would do differently is if this were like a finger length on top, then I would blend that with my fingers also. I would do a 3 here and maybe a 4 at the very top of this, a 4, but then I would bring it out with my shears and my comb and cut it, blend it with the sides that way. All right. What do we think? Easy? I think so. And like I said, this is just such a minor difference in the lengths. The real difference is going to be in your pressure and your consistency in that section all the way around. That's it.